My mother-in-law told her friends I was just a gold digger, WH married her son for money, and said I should stay quiet and look pretty during their family event. But when the company CEO walked in, hugged me, and said, "We owe our success to her," the entire room went silent, including her son. WHO finally saw the truth. My name is Claire Morgan. I'm 31 years old, and I never thought I'd be standing in a room full of people who judged me for everything except who I really was. I wasn't born into money, but I worked hard, I climbed my way up, and I made a name for myself in the tech industry, one that didn't depend on anyone's last name or credit card. But somehow, after I married Ethan Caldwell, the son of an old money family in Connecticut, none of that seemed to matter. To them, I wasn't Claire Morgan, the innovator who helped launch one of the fastest growing startups in New York. I was just Claire, the girl from Queens with too much lipstick and not enough class. That's what my mother-in-law, Judith, thought anyway. And she made sure everyone knew it. Judith never liked me. From the first dinner I ever had with the Caldwell family, she'd been cold, passive-aggressive, and always quick to correct me in front of others. I told myself it was just her way. She was uptight, traditional, raised in a world of cotillions and silent judgments. I tried to see past it. I really did. Ethan asked me to be patient, said she'd come around. She didn't. Things escalated the day of the Caldwell Foundation's annual charity gala. It was the family event of the year, a place where appearances were everything. The mansion was buzzing with politicians, wealthy donors, and society women who all looked like they had been pulled from the same country club catalog. I walked into the main hall wearing a sleek black dress, nothing too flashy, but elegant. Judith's eyes scanned me up and down like a customs officer at the border. Then she leaned over to her two friends, both equally tight-lipped women with pearls practically strangling their necks, and said it loud enough for me to hear. "She's just a gold digger. Married Ethan for the money." I told her, just stay quiet and look pretty. That's all she needs to do tonight. I froze. I wasn't even 5 feet away. She wanted me to hear it. Ethan didn't. He was across the room talking to his uncle. And I, like a fool, just smiled, pretending it didn't sting. But it did. God, it did. I wanted to say something. To defend myself. To remind her that I had been running a department at TechRevive, a billion-dollar company, before I even met her son. But no one in that room would have believed me. And then, the twist. The crowd began to shift as a small entourage walked through the doors. All eyes turned. The CEO of TechRevive, Donovan Blake, had just arrived. He was a powerful man, rarely seen at these types of events. I hadn't even known he'd be here. He scanned the room, and then his eyes landed on me. "Claire," he said, his voice booming with joy. He crossed the floor in seconds and hugged me, genuinely, like an old friend who owed me something he could never repay. "We owe our success to her," he said, turning to the crowd. "I tell every new hire that this woman right here, she built the foundation for our AI division from scratch. She's one of the smartest, most dedicated people I've ever had the honor of working with." Silence. I swear you could have heard a pin drop. Judith's face went pale, and the women beside her didn't dare look my way. Ethan's eyes met mine from across the room. His jaw was slightly open. For the first time in our marriage, I saw realization hit him like a freight train. But that wasn't the end. Not even close. Because Judith wasn't done. And Ethan had his own secrets. The rest of the night blurred around me. Conversations paused when I walked by. Judith didn't say a word, not even a fake smile. And Ethan? He stayed silent, distant. Not cold, just stunned. Like someone had shaken the foundation of everything he believed about me. Part of me wanted to feel vindicated, but a bigger part of me? It was hurt. Because why did it take another man's words for my own husband to finally see my worth? The next morning, Ethan finally spoke. "I didn't know you were that involved with TechRevive." I stared at him. "We've been married for over a year. How could you not know?" He looked guilty. "You mentioned work, but I guess I never asked more." He didn't ask, because he never really thought it mattered. That hurt more than Judith's words. Over the next few weeks, everything started changing. Judith began acting nicer, but it was the fakest, most forced sweetness I'd ever seen. Like a robot learning how to smile. She'd send me articles about philanthropy, invite me to lunches with her charity friends, and kept bringing up how important image was. But the weirdest part? Ethan changed too. He suddenly wanted to know everything about my job. He suggested I give a talk at a business conference, something I'd already been invited to do months ago. It felt like he was trying to catch up to a version of me he didn't even know existed. And just when I thought maybe, just maybe, this crack in our marriage could be sealed, I saw something I wasn't supposed to. A message popped up on his phone one night when he left it charging in the kitchen. From a woman named Harper. "You told me she was just some arm candy. You said I didn't have to worry about her outshining you. So what now, Ethan?" My hands went cold. Harper. A name I'd never heard before. But that message? That was all I needed to see. I didn't confront him right away. I waited. Watched. And then, 3 nights later, he slipped up. He said he had a late meeting, but his location pinged him at a lounge downtown. I went there, and I saw them. Harper wasn't just some fling. She was another version of Judith, sleek, elegant, polite to a fault, and clinging to Ethan like she already had the ring. But here's the twist Judith never saw coming. Harper wasn't just some affair. She was also the daughter of Judith's best friend. When I walked into the lounge, Harper's smile dropped instantly. Ethan turned a ghostly shade of white. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just walked straight up, took the drink off the table, sipped it, and said, "So this is the woman you said wouldn't outshine me?" And I left. No theatrics, just power. But I wasn't done. Because Harper wasn't just trying to steal my husband. She was about to make a move that would ruin the Caldwells forever. And they didn't even know it. After that night at the lounge, I didn't talk to Ethan for 2 full days. Not a word. I needed space to think, to breathe, to stop myself from burning everything to the ground. And that's when I got an anonymous message. No name, no sender, just a screenshot of a calendar invite titled Merger Strategy Meeting Harper and Ethan dated 2 months ago. Location, a private hotel suite. Attached to the invite, a file labeled Caldwell Holdings Acquisition Plan, internal. The moment I opened that file, everything made sense. Harper wasn't just sleeping with my husband. She was helping him push through a secret deal, an internal corporate merger that would give him more power over his family's business. And I wasn't supposed to know. But here's the kicker. The deal was heavily funded by Harper's family's money, which meant Judith knew all about it. The affair wasn't a betrayal. It was a calculated move. They all thought I was just the pretty face at the charity events. The gold digger, the outsider. But they forgot I built financial models in my sleep. I stayed up all night tracing digital trails. Shell accounts, wire transfers, shady consulting invoices, all tied back to Harper's father. It was a full-blown corporate chess game, and I wasn't just a pawn. I was the damn queen. So I made my move. The Caldwell's annual business summit was just a week away. A luxurious weekend retreat in the Berkshires, only the most powerful board members, investors, and family insiders invited. It was supposed to be Ethan's big moment to announce his strategic partnership with Harper's firm. Except I had other plans. I called in a favor from Donovan Blake, the TechRevive CEO who owed me everything. I told him I wanted to present at the summit. He didn't even hesitate. "Anything for you," he said. So there I was, standing on stage in front of Ethan, Judith, Harper, and 100 other people who thought I was just a trophy wife with a nice smile. My presentation started off simple, industry trends, AI growth, blah blah. Then I flipped the slide. The collapse of integrity, a case study on corporate nepotism and insider deals. And I laid it all out. The fake invoices, the backdoor merger, the misuse of Caldwell Foundation funds. I didn't name names, but I didn't need to. Faces turned pale. Judith shifted in her chair. Harper's hands clenched. And Ethan? He looked like he was about to throw up. Then came the final slide. Financial model built and leaked by C. Morgan. MBA, CPA, former lead architect at TechRevive AI division. The silence was deafening. When I walked off stage, people were already whispering. Judith stood up and stormed out. Harper followed. Ethan just sat there, staring at the floor. But that wasn't the end. Because when I got to my car, there was someone waiting. Judith. She looked shaken. No pearls. No cold smile. "Claire," she said, "we need to talk. In private." I almost laughed. "Now you want to talk?" But what she said next, that twist changed everything. She stood by my car like a completely different person. No smug attitude. No condescension. Just a quiet desperation in her eyes I'd never seen before. "I didn't want it to go this far," she said. I folded my arms. "Didn't want what to go this far? Destroying your own daughter-in-law? Helping your son cheat? Setting me up to look like a nobody?" She shook her head. "No, Claire, you don't understand. Harper wasn't supposed to be part of this. That was never the plan. It got out of control." I laughed. "So what, now you want to be friends?" "No," she said. "I want to tell you the truth. About Ethan, about the family, and about why I was so hard on you from the start." She opened her purse and pulled out a flash drive. "You need to see this. Just watch it, alone." I was seconds from tossing it in the trash. But something in her voice, something fragile, made me stop. I waited until I got home, plugged the flash drive in, and what I saw made my blood run cold. It was a video, footage from inside a private boardroom. Ethan was there, Harper too, and Judith. Ethan was pitching the merger idea, but not just to grow Caldwell Holdings. He was planning to phase Judith out completely. Harper had helped him draft fake reports claiming Judith was mentally unfit to manage assets. They were plotting to declare her unstable, transfer financial control of her shares to Ethan, and then let Harper's firm run the rest. He was going to betray his own mother. The same mother who threw me under the bus to protect him. The woman I thought was my villain had actually been trying to survive. But then came the real twist. Judith turned to the camera near the end of the video. "If you're watching this," she said, "then Ethan went through with it. I was wrong about you, Claire. I thought you were like every other woman who tried to get close to this family. But you're smarter than all of them, and if anyone can stop him, it's you." I sat there frozen. Everything I thought I knew flipped. Judith had made herself the villain to distract from Ethan. She knew her son was dangerous, manipulative. She tried to scare me off, hoping I'd leave before he could destroy me like he was planning to destroy her. And Harper? She wasn't just his mistress or business partner. She was a tool. But now they were both exposed. I had enough evidence to take them down publicly. But I didn't. Instead, I invited Ethan to dinner. Just us. When he arrived, I greeted him like nothing had happened. Candlelight. Wine. A table set for two. He smiled like a man still convinced he was in control. But dessert changed everything. Because I handed him a small envelope. Inside, a legal document. Divorce papers. With a note that read, "You said I should just stay quiet and look pretty. I stayed quiet. Now it's my turn to speak." He didn't say a word. Didn't need to. He knew I had him. Financially. Legally. And worst of all, socially. Judith's allies were mine now. The board already knew the truth. Harper's firm was under investigation. Ethan? He was finished. But there's one last twist you don't see coming. Because while I walked away from Ethan, Judith had one more secret. And it was about me. I thought I was done. Papers signed, Ethan ruined, Harper disgraced, and Judith. Well, she disappeared for a while. No calls, no texts, no dramatic speeches, just silence. And for a while, I loved the quiet. Until I got a letter. Handwritten. No return address. I opened it slowly, expecting drama, maybe some guilt-ridden confession from Ethan. But it was from Judith. "Meet me. One last time. The place we first met. Alone. Jay." I hesitated. Could have ignored it. But something deep down told me this wasn't just nostalgia or closure. This was unfinished business. So I went. It was the art gallery where Ethan first introduced us a charity fundraiser. I remembered the way Judith had barely looked at me that night, just gave me a glance and whispered to her friend, "Pretty girl. But let's hope she knows how to stay in her lane." Now, the place was empty, dimly lit. Judith sat alone on a bench, staring at a painting of a woman in red, her eyes half-shadowed, unreadable. "You came," she said without looking at me. "Last time," I said firmly. She nodded. "Good. Then you deserve the last piece of truth." And then, without even blinking, she dropped a bomb I never saw coming. "Ethan's not the one who brought you into this world of money and power," she said. "You already belonged here. You just didn't know it." I frowned. "What are you talking about?" She handed me an envelope. Inside was a photo, an old one. A woman in a sharp navy suit standing next to a younger version of Judith. They looked like business partners. "That's your mother," Judith said. I felt the ground shift beneath me. "My mother died when I was 6. I barely remember her," I whispered. "She didn't just die," Judith said. "She was forced out, betrayed by the very industry she helped build. And the person who turned on her was my husband, Ethan's father." I stared at her. "Your mother co-founded one of the companies that became part of Caldwell Holdings," she continued. "She was brilliant, visionary. But when she got pregnant, they said she was a liability. They took her shares, erased her name, and made her disappear." My hands trembled. Judith looked at me. "I recognized you the moment Ethan brought you home. Your eyes, your mannerisms. I knew exactly who you were." "Then why did you treat me like trash?" I snapped. "Because I wanted to see if you were strong enough to survive this world. The same one that chewed your mother up and spit her out. And when I saw what you did to Ethan, to Harper, to me, I knew." She stood. "You didn't just marry into this family. You were always meant to take it back." And with that, she walked away, leaving me frozen. I was never the gold digger. I was the heir they never saw coming. Not because I wore diamonds. Not because I married the golden boy. But because I was the daughter of a woman they erased, and I came back to finish what she started. Today, I don't just own a seat at the table. I built a new table, and I carved her name into it. For every woman who was told to stay quiet and look pretty. For every woman who didn't. Never underestimate someone just because they're quiet or don't fit your expectations. Sometimes the person you dismiss as just a pretty face is the one with the power, the plan, and the legacy to turn the whole game around. Respect is earned, but underestimating the wrong person can cost you everything. If this story gave you chills and kept you hooked, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more jaw-dropping, twist-filled stories that will keep you on the edge of your seat. New stories drop every week. You won't want to miss what's coming next.